What is happening, everybody? MG here, MGCovers, bringing you a brand new sports handicapping video. Title of this video is Making Adjustments to Our MLB Totals Model. Super educational video. You're going to get to see me do something live, make some adjustments to this model. I think you can get a lot of value out of it, especially if you're learning to build models for sports betting. Before we do that, as always, greatly appreciate you subscribing to the channel. We've got a ton of content I'm going to put out this week. I got a client testimonial video I'm going to do, some other really cool things, so look for those videos this week as well. If you follow me on social media, MGCovers, covers spelled with a Z. Find me on Instagram. Put out a lot of nuggets on Instagram storyline. Also, sometimes we'll actually give out some leans, my lines for that particular day. And I do something on Friday called Free Fridays, which means I give out all my lines for all the major sports on Friday. So if you follow me, get a ton of value simply by following me. All right, so let's dive into today's video. We're going to talk about making adjustments to a stat model. If you followed this channel for a long time, I'm a big advocate. There's no way to do this business successfully unless you have a stat model that is 100% statistically driven with no bias. So what I did was I built this MLB model. It's basically modeled after the NHL model. NHL model is a plug and play model. It is very rare to create a model. When I say a plug and play model, there's no handicapping to it whatsoever. You can just, if it says, hey, team A is a play or team B is a play, has value, is simply a play. There's no situationally handicapping. There's no you don't factor line movement. That model's been extremely successful, hit right at 60% the entire second half of the year, which was when I started tracking it. And then I think it's 15-6 in the playoffs this year. So clients having a lot of success with that model. Now, it's rare that a model is going to be this way, and this is one really good example. So this is the totals model that I've built for Major League Baseball. And just to show you what this thing looks like year to date. And it's only, it's only have, 5 or 6 days of data. So it's 22 wins and just making sure I'm adding this up right, and 20 losses. So that's a win percentage of 52%. Now, if those of you that are building models, if you can get a model to consistently hit just the model, I'm not talking about any handicapping, which means plug and play. After you calculate everything, your model's hitting a little bit over 50%. That's actually a really good model because you can handicap it to get that win percentage up a little bit higher than that. When I talk about handicapping, I'm talking about line movement, situationally, and I'm going to show you some specific examples in this video, and we're going to get this percentage up. So first thing we're going to do, and I think I made a video, this might be a coaching video. When you're looking at a model, you can't just look at it and say, oh, wow, it's 52%. You can actually improve on that. Or maybe the model's less than that. So what you want to do is, there's two ways to do this. You can look at your wins. You can analyze your wins. What did these teams have in common that won? And then what did the losses have in common? So the first thing I noticed, and I'll show you this, these are my lines over here, and on this side are the sportsbook lines. So the first thing I noticed, and I caught this last night, you can see here this line is 8.5 sportsbook. Our line is 7.2, so that would lean towards the under. There were there were 3 games yesterday that were like that. Sportsbook line 8.5, my line 7.2. Sportsbook line 8.5. My line 7.2. Those particular games went 1 and 2. Now the reason that's important is this. So when we talk about finding value in sports betting, the minimum number for the most part is 15% margin. So we take 7.2 divided by a sportsbook line of 8.5, and you get a margin of 0.84 minus 1. This is how you calculate margin. I do this in my head. So 15% margin. So what I found already in Major League Baseball is that that's probably too tight of a margin, which means, especially when you're looking at runs, because there's not a big difference between 8.5 and 7.2. Now, when you look at this Detroit Tampa Bay game that won. I don't know the final score. 7.5 was a sportsbook line. Our line was 5.25. So the actual margin on that game, 5.25 divided by 7.5 was 0.7. You subtract 1. I'm just showing you the calculation. I do all this in my head. So that's 30%. So this was a 30% margin. So what I did was I said, okay, probably what I need to do is I only need to consider a total as a potential play if it has at least 20% margin and not 15%. So what we can do already is we can eliminate this game here, this one here, and we have to count this one too, even though it was a win. All right. So just by doing that, look what happens to the model. Now it goes to, just by eliminating those games, instead of, okay, before it was 1, 2, 3, 4 wins and 3 losses, so it was a losing day. Now we've turned it into an even day just by that one adjustment. And we'll take it a step further now. And next thing we do, we're going to look at line movement. Houston, Boston, the line was 8.5. And you look over here. Now, line movement with totals is a little bit different. Sometimes you'll see line movement move early in the morning. Sometimes, like the way that I teach, you want to wait as late as possible to play, because if the line movement is late, more than likely, more times than not, that's sharp movement. But this particular line moved from 8.5 to 9 at around 9:30 that morning, the day of the game, and never moved back. So the way I would look at that is, hey, if this 9 was a bad number, it should move back to the 8.5, and it didn't. So this was the Houston-Boston game. It went from 8.5 to 9. So based on line movement, we eliminate that one. So now we're actually up to a winning day for yesterday. We're 2-1. So again, we looked at our losses. We realized that the 15% margins was too tight, and that was confirmed by the losses, right? Okay. So that was that day. So we took a 3 and 4 day, and simply by applying line movement and making adjustments to what we consider a value play, we turned that into a 2-1 day. Now let's do the same for, this was tonight. All right. So first game we look at, let's see, do I get this right? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I forgot to tell you this one. As a matter of fact, this would have been 2-0 day. This was the Atlanta Milwaukee game from yesterday. Yeah, my bad. So you look at the line open at 8, which you see here, and then look what happens at 5:41 yesterday. It moves from 8 down to 7.5. So that's favoring the under. We had it listed as an over, so that would have been a play that we eliminated. So now that's even better. So it would have been a 2-0 day, getting rid of the games that had less than a 20% margin. In this case, the 15% margin games, and applying line movement took away the losses and got us to a 2-0 day as opposed to a 3 and 4 day. So how cool is that? All right, so now we move on to this day, Cincinnati, Cleveland. This was, model went 1-4 on its own with no handicapping. All right, so the first game we're going to look at, so again, same situation here. This was on the over. So this San Diego was 8.5. Our line was 9.77. So if we take 8.5 divided by 9.77, we get 87. See, that one was even tight. So -1. So see, that was only a 13% margin. So we eliminate that game. All right, and then you look over here. This was the Yankees-Baltimore game. Not really a lot of movement. The line moved yesterday. I like to look at the line movement current for that day. So it basically stayed at 8.5. So we keep this one. Probably would have played it on the under. And of course, because our line was 5.5, so we had good margin. That was a loss. So let's take a look at this Houston Boston game. Check this out. So this line was 8.5. I think this line was actually, okay, it was 8.5 to start today. So it's 8.5. Look what happens at 5:42. It bumps to 9. So we were on the under via the model, but we have a conflict because the line movement is favoring the over here. So that would have been a pass. And then finally, Atlanta, Milwaukee. You can see here this line was 8.5. It moved to down to 8, and then at 6:19 tonight, it bumps back up to 8.5, favoring the over. So we would have played that based on that. But look what happens now. So we went for today. We'd have went, if we'd have played the 15% margins and not applied line movement, it basically went 1 and 4. But getting rid of the games that are less than 20% margin and applying line movement, we turn that into a 1 and 2 day. So now what happens if you add all this up now? Check this out. And this is why, I'd say, let's see, what's that, 21, and let's see what it's going to be now. 21 and 14. So that's going to be, and I'm in Google Sheets, by the way, which is a must-have app. So that'd be 21 divided by 35. Is that right? Yep. And now you got 60%. So you took a model that was right at 52% and turned it into a model that's 60%, just by making some small adjustments. And again, just to review that, always look at your wins, look at your losses, see if there's, why is that game winning and why is this game losing? Again, sometimes it's easier to do if it's your own model because you understand it better. I can't get into details of actually showing the model, but hopefully you can see that just by making some simple adjustments to your model, you can improve it. Now, clients can have access to this model if you want access to this model, as well as all models for all sports, including soccer. We have NBA playoffs as well as NHL playoffs right now. It's $49 per month. You get access to that, as well as all of my coaching videos. We upload one new coaching video a week. If you want to get access to that, in addition to all my plays for all sports, that is $99 per month. And if you want to join for the entire year, that is $4.99. You save about $600. That is the best value. So hopefully this video helped. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and we will talk to you guys soon. Peace.